Hi everyone, in today's video I'm doing something exciting. I'm going to try and put some lighting inside my doll's house, and I am going to start by saying don't try this at home because I'm having a little bit of an experiment. I don't have any ready-made lighting for my doll's house, but what I have bought are these candles that are battery operated, and they also have a remote control. Now I've bought these especially because they have the remote control, because I want it to be easy to turn off and on the lights. So they have this flickering flame at the top, they're covered in real wax. And so I thought what I would do is pop the batteries in, just check what the colour is, and I was really surprised because I didn't realise I'd bought colour changing candles, so I could have a little disco in my doll's house if I wanted to. I could have some green, some blue, some purple. I think I'll stick with this colour. Now obviously this candle is way too big for the doll's house, so I'm going to take these batteries out because what I want to do is expose the mechanism inside. I want to find out what is inside this and look at how I can use it. Now obviously I've said don't try this at home. At all times whilst I've been doing this, I've taken the batteries out and I've not tampered at all with any of the wires or any of the bits where the wires are soldered together or where the chipboard is or where the light bulb is. So I've literally just taken the casing away. So this is what's inside the candle. And you can see here it's got the little light bulb that's at the base, and it's also got the light bulb that's in the top where this flame flickers. So the flickering flame, I believe, is working probably on a magnet, just looking at it. It's not connected to the electrics, but I think it might have a magnet inside it, which is what then causes the flickering effect. So if I put it into my doll's house like this, obviously it's way too big. So what I'm going to do is probably take that flickering flame away by just removing the casing. So batteries out again. And then again, I'm not altering any of the components or the electrics in here. I'm just taking the casing away. This just snapped off easily, and that's the little flame there. Looks not connected at all. And then it is the little light bulb that was shining on the flickering flame. By taking the flame away, it does mean that this doesn't flicker anymore, which is a real shame, but that little flame won't actually fit into any of the cavities that I've got here. So I popped it in. Well, I popped two in, one up in the chimney and one behind in the oven. I wish I'd have actually thought about this before I made the oven, because it was really hard to get it in through that little gap. But I've managed. I am a little bit worried about ever getting it back out again when it needs the batteries changing, but there we go. I could change the colours if I want to. Obviously I'm not going to. I'm going to stick with either the orangey glow or the reddy glow, which is this one. Quite like that one. I can't change the colour in the one on the fireplace. I think I've knocked the bulb as I've been putting it up, but never mind. Now I need to have a think about how to attach my coals and make it look like glowing embers. So I've gathered these things together. I've got my hot glue gun, I've got some other spritzing inks. So I use spritzing ink to make the coal, but I've actually got these two other colours that were in my cupboard as well, so I thought I'd see what effect I could get using these. And I have got my hot glue gun sticks, and I've also got some beads, because I thought that maybe some of the orangey beads might maybe make a base, but I don't know. I've just gathered some bits together and I'm going to have an experiment. So my first experiment was with the hot glue gun, and I added some of the spritzing ink. It was a lot redder than I expected it to be, and the glue gun glue dried so quickly that it barely took any of the colour, and it actually then dried a pinky colour. So I thought that this was a bit of a disaster, and I straight away decided this was not a method that I was going to use for attaching my coal. Just for fun, I thought I'd add a little bit of the bluey ink and see what happened. This was just me having a little experiment. I didn't think at this point that it was going to be a method that I would use, but I just wanted to see the effect that it made. It's always good to learn in case it would be good for something else. Next I decided to try a different method using black acrylic paint and adding some glue to it to see what happened there. Thank you to everyone, by the way, that's made suggestions of things like matte Mod Podge, Milliput and different materials like that. They are still in my mind. I just thought I'd try with some of the things that I had rather than going out and buying something new first. So I mixed the hot glue gun with some black acrylic just to see what effect it had, and it came out really shiny black like this. For my next experiment, I literally just put some glue gun down and mixed my coal into it. Well, I sort of scattered the coal over the top with a spoon. I've managed to not get the footage of that somehow. That made this effect, and actually is probably the best so far, although I'm not fond of the fact that you can see some of the dried glue. I still wanted to try and get that glowing effect from the embers, so what I did was I tried squirting some of the actual coal with the red to see what effect that had. alright, and I'd added too much of the coal and dust on top because I wanted to cover all of the glue, so this is the bit that did stick together. But again, I wasn't happy with the fact that you could see some of the glue, and also it left a really defined edge, and when I want it in the fireplace I want it to be quite flat, as if it's been scattered and that it's already burnt down. So I then decided to choose a different glue to practice with, and I just used my normal multi-purpose glue that I've been using for almost everything in the doll's house actually. So I just put some onto the baking paper and sprinkled the coals and the dust on top. I flattened them down a bit just to try and avoid that really defined edge. I don't want just a round pile of coal, I want it to look scattered and spread out. The reason I'm gluing my coal here rather than putting the glue straight onto the doll's house floor is because I'll need to be able to remove this coal to get the battery packs out if I need to change the batteries for the lighting. So I've got my example on the left without the red spritzing ink, and then the example on the right with the red spritzing ink. The one on the left does have a couple of coals in it that got squirted earlier because they were left over in the dusty pile, so I thought I'd use them. And then I'll leave this dry. These will take longer to dry than the glue gun ones, but when they were dry they peeled off fairly easily, and this is what they look like. And I much preferred these. They didn't have the defined edge with the big gluey blobs, so I popped them in place, and this is what they look like. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a little bit of mix of adding lighting and adding the coal, and I'm really pleased with the outcome. Please remember to let me know what you think, comment, subscribe, like, all of that, and cheers for popping by.